Hello students, today we are going to learn a very beautiful poem by Lord Alfred Tennyson, that is The Brook. The brook means you know that students, it is a stream of water. And before we start the explanation of the poem, I would like to summarize the poem. The poem, it is an autobiography of a brook. The narrator is the brook itself. It describes the journey of its life. It comes from the places which are frequently visited by water birds like coot and heron. It emerges suddenly and flows down a valley with a lot of noise. It hurries down the hills and slips by the ridges. During its journey, it passes by 30 hills, 20 villages, 50 bridges, and a little town. It then flows by Philip's farm and joins the brimming river. Generations after generations of men come and die, but it flows forever. The brook makes strange and loud noises as it flows over stony paths and rocks. Sometimes its water moves in spirals. It gets angry when it makes many curves on its bank and fallow fields. It also passes with noises by many places and fairy forelands covered with willow weed and mallow. Then it joins the brimming river. The brook moves in a zigzag manner. Here and there one can see flowers floating on its surface. Many lusty trout fish or grayling are found in it. Swallows skim over its surface. Foaming flakes are also seen. It carries all these things to join the brimming river. The brook passes silently by lawns and grassy plots. It slides by small hazel trees. It takes the sweet forget-me-not flowers for happy livers. The swallows fly over its surface, and the sunbeams fall on its surface and appear to dance. It slips, slides, glooms, and glances merrily while flowing. The brook passes through thorny wildernesses at nights, and then it murmurs. The moon and the stars shine. It flows very slowly by its shingles, shingles. It loiters round the pungent leaved plant like crassus. Then it curves and flows to join the brimming river. It says that men may come and men may go, but it goes on forever. So this is the summary of the poem. Okay, so let us learn the poem now. First stanza. I come from haunts of coot and hern. I make a sudden sally and sparkle out among the fern to bicker down a valley. Here the brook is speaking. The speaker of the poem, the brook itself, explains that it started its journey from the place where the birds like coot and hern means heron often come together. So from that place the brook has started its journey. Suddenly the brook rushes forward and sunlight glitters on the water as the brook weaves through greenery and that grows beside the stream bank, and the brook then flows gently into the valley. Next stanza. Second stanza. By thirsty hills I hurry down, or slip between the ridges. By 20 thorps a little town, and half a hundred of bridges. So, gaining momentum with the flow, the brook tumbles down many hills, okay, and slips through narrow crevices on some of the hillsides. So it hurries down 30 hills, and it slips between the ridges also. So it flows through 20 thorps, okay, and a little town. Thorps means villages, and he passed through like half hundred bridges, means like 50 under 50 bridges. So along the way the brook passes several villages and a small town and flows under the lot of bridges. Next, third stanza. Till last by Philip's farm I flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. Finally the brook glides past a farm that belongs to a man called Philip, and the brook is on its way to be absorbed by the river, which is already huge and overflowing. So the brook claims that while humans live short and impermanent lives, the brook itself will always endure, means the brook is eternal. Okay, next, fourth stanza. I chatter over stony ways in little sharps and trembles. In little sharps and trebles, I bubble into eddying bays. I babble on the pebbles. So, picking its journey back up, the brook rushes over stone paths and streets, sounding like music as it flows over the rocks. The brook pulls into bays filled with churning water and then tumbles over small stones that are along the shore or are at the bottom of the bay. Next stanza, fifth stanza. With many a curve, my banks I fret. By many a field and fallow, and many a fairy foreland set with willow, weed, and mallow. So here, the brook curves around the stream bank. With many a curve, my banks I fret. So it takes many curves. Okay, so the brook curves around the stream bank and passes many meadows and plots of farmland, both in use and left to rest, as it travels through the countryside. So he means the brook flows through many meadows which are used as a farm, and sometimes the land is there which is not used as a farm. So it flows through that land also as it travels to the countryside. So it also flows alongside land that seems to belong to fairies, its landscape dotted with green leafy plants and delicate blossoms. So here, and many a fairy foreland set with willow, weed, and mallow. So it is talking about that. So it's a landscape dotted with green leafy plants and delicate blossoms. Next stanza. Number 6. I chatter as I flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. Here in this stanza, I chatter and chatter as I flow, means here brook is saying that I chatter means it is making a lot of noise, a sound as I while flowing to join the brimming, because the brook has to join the brimming river. So rushing along, the brook makes little trickling noises as it travels to the almost overflowing river. But brook reminds the listener that human life is fleeting. There is an end to the human life, but brook is eternal. So, but the brook itself is eternal. Next, 7th stanza. I wind about and in and out, with here a blossom sailing, and here and there a lusty trout, and here and there a grayling. So here the brook meanders through the countryside. It flows through countryside in a zigzagging across the landscape, and it points out a flower drifting along it along with its water, a few particularly hearty trout and some freshwater fish called grayling. So some it flows through or it flows with some fishes also. Okay, and those are the some hearty trout and some freshwater fish called graylings. So they are flowing with the flow of the brook. These fishes are flowing with the flow of the brook. Next, 8th stanza. And here and there a foamy fleck upon me as I travel, with many a silvery water break above the golden gravel. So occasionally the brook's water bubbles up and foams as it journeys towards the river. The surface of the brook sometimes forms little waves that crash melodically on top of the pebbles and sand down below. So, which is the sand which is under the water, as it is in yellowish in color, but it looks like a golden color. Okay, because foam is there on the water, and when the sunbeam, when the sun rays fall on that foam, it looks like a rainbow. You must have seen many colors of it. So occasionally the brook's water bubbles up and foams as it journeys towards the river. The surface of the brook sometimes forms little waves and that crash melodically on top of the pebbles and sand down below. Next one, 9th stanza. And draw them all along and flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. So vigorous brook pulls the pebbles and flowers, petals and fishes along with it. As the force of the brook is very strong, it pulls, it flows with the pebbles, means small stones, and flowers, flower petals and fishes along with it, as it rushes to join the brimming river, means it has to join with the large overflowing river. And while humankind's time on earth is short and temporary, but the life of brook is eternal. So brook is eternal, so the brook will continue to live on with no end in sight. Next one, 10th stanza. I steal by lawns and grassy plots, I slide by hazel covers, I move the sweet forget-me-nots that grow for happy lovers. So the brook quietly creeps past meadows. It quietly goes through the meadows and fields carpeted with grass, and slips through densely planted hazel trees that shade the landscape. And so here brook is passing through the meadows which are like carpeted with grass, and the brook also slips through some densely planted hazel trees which are like big trees and that shade the landscape. So it is flowing through them also. And I move the sweet forget-me-nots that grow for happy lovers, means the rippling water nudges wildflowers called forget-me-nots. We know that forget-me-not flowers are there. So that grow along the stream bank, and the brook says these particular wildflowers are meant for people who are blissfully in love. For happy lovers, these flowers are there for them. Next, 11th stanza. The brook, I sleep, I slide, I gloom, I glance among my skimming swallows, I make the netted sunbeam dance against my sandy shallows. So the brook describes how it moves along quietly, sometimes looking dark and murky. Other times the light playfully bounces off the stream, or perhaps the stream bounces off the river bank. And all the while, birds called swallows barely brush the water surface. So the birds with swallows, we know that they all the time they are hovering on the surface of water for food, like to catch some fishes. So barely brush the water surface as they search for food. The sunlight shines through the foliage that surrounds the stream, casting a woven pattern on the surface of the water. So reflecting on a moving surface, the sunlight looks It is dancing playfully upon the brook's sandy, shallow water. And the 12th stanza, I murmur under moon and stars, I bramly wildernesses, in bramly wildernesses, I linger by my shingly bars, I loiter round my cresses. So the water makes low, quiet sounds as it travels during night time, flowing past a forest filled with prickly shrubs. The stream slows its pace when it comes to a sandbank heaped with little pebbles and spends another unhurried moment swirling around the leafy greens such as watercress that grow in the shallow waters of the stream. Next. And the last stanza, and out again I curve and flow to join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. So, once again, the brook continues its journey to merge with the big river. The brook reminds listeners that although individual humans are born, but they have to die someday, but here the brook is eternal. I go on forever means there is no end to the brook because it is eternal. So these are some illustrations of these poems in the next 3 slides. You are going to see the Brook poem by the Alfred Lord Tennyson, then the Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth, and Oh I Wish I Would Looked After My Teeth by Pam Ayres. We can illustrate one stanza of the poem. Here the first one is the Brook poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, second one by the Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth, and the last one that is Oh I Wish I Looked After My Teeth by Pam Ayres. Okay, you can illustrate it. So I think this is the end of the poem. Thank you very much. I hope you understood it. Watch it twice, thrice, and then attempt the assignment. Thank you.